What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I don't know yet what I'm going to title this one. I know what I want to call it. I want to title it Why I Don't Get My Panties in a Wad Over DEI. But if I do that, I'm going to have to change some wording around or whatever to keep YouTube off my back. But that's what this is going to be about. Why I don't get my undies in a wad, or the phrase is my panties in a wad over DEI. I think a lot of the way that we think in life in general comes from our upbringing, things that we saw, things that we didn't see. For instance, I think that the majority on both sides, not just on the Caucasian side in terms of true racism and prejudice, but also on our side and any side that may partake in it, I think that a lot of it stems from the way that you was raised. If you was raised in a home where that kind of language was spewed out a lot, that the so and so ethnicity is this, is that, is this, is that, then I think that's going to get programmed into your way of thinking and ultimately come out in your actions. Matter of fact, I had a friend of mine that I worked with years ago. She had never grew up around or been around uh, black people. Middle school, high school, elementary school, everything was all Caucasian. And she was telling me that it was kind of weird just even being friends with me because her dad had told her that we were lazy, that we beat, women, that just on and on and on. And then she seen my work ethic, and I'm not talking about, smacking nobody around. So she actually admitted this was a shock to me. Like I when you started working here, I thought it was going to be one way, and you're nothing like what I was told, even in my own family. So I said all that just to say that I think that the way that we think about most things in life, at least the foundation of it, will come from how we were raised, and the way that I was brought up, not only in my home but just the times and the environment. Those of us who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and even before, we was taught that hard work pays off. I mean, that's what it was. America still had a lot of industry to it. I mean, it was leaving, but it was, there was still factories in the major cities. You could still go, get a job where you work there 25, 30 years. You walk away with a pension, walk away with some type of retirement. If you didn't want to go to college or whatever, you knew I could go work for this, this assembly line. I could go to Detroit, hop on the assembly line and build cars or just whatever. We were still available. You work hard, you put the time in, you go up the ladder, you become a manager, supervisor, lead. You just go on up through the chain. That's what we believe. Whether it happened or not every time, it's just the way that we came up. So I didn't come up in an environment where I felt that anybody owed me anything. I came up in an environment where hard work and diligence, and it would allow you to get there. When I not retired, when I graduated out of high school and was looking for a job, the same year that I graduated was my dad was about to retire, and move from Missouri, which is where he retired from the military, and come back to North Carolina. And I knew that I didn't really want to just, follow him around. I was 17, 18 years old. They was coming back. I didn't really want to come back. I wanted to hang around, maybe go to St. Louis. And so I went and got a job that from the base where he was at, about 30, 35 miles away, they had a town that had about, man, in 95, 96, they had at least 6 or 7 factories that I would say employed probably 70% of that town. If you wasn't a farmer, because it was probably 90, I would say 98% Caucasian. And this was Midwest, mid 90s. So racism was high. In that same town, previously, I had been pretty much ran off or directed to get off the road by 3 members of a particular organization that wear the white hoods. They had one of them had some change rolled up, and he took it out, unrolled it, threw it at me, hit me in the chest, and said, "Ninja," using the other word, "Ninja, don't say we never did nothing for you." Threw the other half of the piece of change, hit me in the chest. One of them broke a beer bottle on the back of their truck, had it at my throat, told me, "Don't come back to this town. We better not catch you here at night." All the blah, blah, blah. It was 3 of them, one of me, all the blah, blah, blah. I mean, back then I thought I was a G, so I'm telling them, y'all do what y'all want. I'll be back. If you don't put me down, I'm coming back. And I guess they believe me, whatever, because they ended up kind of backing off, and they had the flag hanging off the back of the truck and try to get me to do the little supremacy hand signal and all kind of crazy stuff. Not going for it, not doing it. But in that same town, I went and took a job that employed about 3,000 people. And to make more money, and again, I'm out of high school, so I don't have anything I have to be doing. I took the night shift so I could get the pay difference. And on the night shift, I would say if there was 1,000 people working, 3 of us were black. 98, 99% Caucasian town, working at a factory that employed over 3,000 people. And the shift that I was on had about 1,000, and only 3 were black. And I was one of the 3. And I went into that job and did like I was raised to do. My first job, but I was raised to, it was actually my second job. My first job was at a Taco Bell that I lasted a week because I didn't like it. But that's another story. So my second job, and I went in and worked hard. I went in and learned the job, got good at the job, began to master the job. And after about 6 months, there was a particular room. What we did was they built air compressors for air conditions. When you're air conditioned at the home, when it comes on, you hear that bump. When you know it's coming on, that's the compressor. So we would build the compressors, and then there was a certain room where we would bump start that compressor to make sure that it would come on and run for a certain amount of time. If it didn't, we would have to send it back around and get relooked at. If it did, it went on to go to shipping. So in that room, the conveyor belt would bring them in, and you could run like 2 at a time, and then you send them out, and then bring another 2 in. Well, once I started mastering the job, I was able to have it where I was bringing 4 in, even though I could only run 2. By the time I unhooked from the first one, I was already hooking up to the second one, if that makes sense. So I actually learned how to double the efficiency. And it was so impressive to my supervisor and my managers, and I wasn't aware that this was even going on. They asked me to come in an hour early one day, and I showed up. I don't know what they want to talk about, and they had the some big wigs from Ohio was in the room, and they was asking me what's my thoughts on that particular, what I was telling y'all, it's called the airboard room. They was asking me how did I come up with it, what was my thoughts. They had some engineers there that they had drew out a diagram and different things. They was asking me, what do you think about this? Do you think it'll work? Here I am. I hadn't been there 6, 7 months, and I'm in there talking to the engineers that's going to design a new platform to make it even more efficient. After that meeting, as I was going back, because my shift had started at that point, so as I was walking down to go to the line, two of them came and said they would like to send me to school to be an engineer and to think about if that's something that I wanted to do. Now, looking back, I wish I had, but at that moment, I knew I wanted to go to St. Louis and attend Bible college. So I declined it. Now, looking back, I wish I had, though, at least for a little while. But I said all that to say, I never let or allow racism or prejudice or the way people saw me or looked at me or just the color of my skin. I never allowed it to stop me from what I had to do. When them dudes ran me off the road, or pretty much just they blocked their truck, so I had to go off the road and told me don't come back. I went back and went to work the next day, and I told them I'm getting off at 6 in the morning. About 6:30, I'll be coming right through here. If y'all, I ain't going nowhere. So I'm not hiding and ducking and dodging. I'm telling y'all right now, I'll be coming through here about 6:30 to hit Interstate 44. So I never let it stop me. So in this day and age, where everybody is getting their undies or their panties in the water over DEI, it don't move me. It don't move me. I've said it before. All of them companies that we are in such an antsy about, they already employ minorities already at a high level. I'm not getting that. Don't move me. All the boycott and everything people want to do, that don't move me. That don't move me. If you get in and you go to work and you're the best person for the job and you're supposed to be there, it'll happen. It reminds me of a verse in the Bible of a story where some people were starting to cut up in the book of Acts. And Gamaliel, which is one of the people that taught Paul what he know about the Jewish history and ways, a man named Gamaliel stood up and said, hey, if it's not of God, it'll come to an end. You ain't got to worry about it. So don't do anything. If it's not of God, and using the Bible words, he said it'll come to naught. Won't nothing come of it. He said, but if it is of God, you ain't going to be able to stop it. That's how I see DEI. Whatever is meant to be, if it's not of God, it'll come to naught. They still gonna hire minorities. Let's get more direct. They still gonna hire black folk. That's what we really care about. Are they gonna hire us? Are we gonna have a job? Are they just gonna hire all of their own color and then we won't be able to have a job and take care of our families? They still gonna hire y'all. They're still gonna hire us. Don't worry about it. Be glad they not forced to. When they hire you, smile in their face because they're not forced by law to do it now. They will be hiring you because they want you there. Okay? It's just not forced to by law to have to run a quota of so many this or so many that to try to please it. They ain't got to do that no more. So when they hire you, when you tell Professor X said it, smile in their face because they'll be hiring you for you. You don't have to get your pants on the wall. They can't stop it. We're here. America is here. We're in existence now. No matter what people say, we going backwards on the note. They already hire minorities already. When you go in for the interview, look around and see your own kind. They're gonna be there. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I just wanted to give my spiel today on why I don't get my panties in a wad over DEI. Y'all holler at me in the comments and be blessed.